Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bookmakers Review's coverage of the Premier League. We have just 5 fixtures to preview this weekend because so many games have been cancelled due to COVID outbreaks. It's a really bad and pretty worrying situation, Matt, and it's difficult for the teams to plan what they're going to do. What have you made of the developments in recent days?
Yeah, it's definitely a sad thing, and it feels like Christmas is canceled, Martin. I mean, it's just going through all of this stuff. It's
Yeah.
round two. It feels like last year, and yeah, more cancellations. So, I mean, this is going to be a fairly quick show, breaking down 5 matches, but I think that we can still find some value on this card.
Well, indeed. And even the teams that are playing are still going to be missing quite a lot of players due to outbreaks. I mean, especially Liverpool missing Van Dijk and Fabinho. That is a hammer blow for them. That's two of their most important players. So, yeah, even the games that are going to be on are still going to be disrupted. And it is quite tricky from a handicapping perspective. A couple of the games that I had picks for have gone, sadly. But yeah, like you said, we've still got a bit of value on this card. So we will kick things off with Aston Villa versus Burnley. Villa have been good, haven't they, since Steven Gerrard took the reins? They've only lost to Liverpool and Man City, but they've won all their other games, beating some of the smaller teams. So do you think they'll be able to keep that going, Matt, against Burnley?
I do. I really like the home side here. I just love what Gerrard is cooking up right now. I mean, like you mentioned, only losing to City and Liverpool by a combined 2 goals. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Being able to beat Man City in the second half in that game and try and find a way back in. And, if Mings isn't clumsy in the challenge against Salah, I mean, maybe they scrap a point at Anfield. So, I really like their back four, Martin. I think that they've just got it. They've got it going with Mings and Konsa. That partnership is fantastic. Target and Cash. I mean, even looking at Martinez, the goalkeeper. I mean, if you want to complete the full back five, you've got a solid one. They've got some good central defensive midfielders to help out that back four. They're not, they're missing some key pieces in the attack, but they're being able to create enough chances and they've been able to take them. Watkins has been clinical. So, yes, I think that Villa continue this hot form. I don't want to be with Burnley really in any way, shape, or form, even though they had an impressive 0-0 against West Ham. I mean, to be able to shut up, someone, like a West Ham, their attack is fantastic. That's probably stronger than Villa's. But
Yeah.
I'm just going with this new manager balance. I believe in Gerrard. I believe that he can make the in-game adjustments if it's 0-0 at 60, and to be able to win this match. I also think that for a bit more value, it totally makes sense to take Villa and the under 4.5 goals here and get it closer to even money. I just didn't complicate it. I took Villa on the money line at -130, and I'm starting to see some movement where it's Villa now in the -140s here in the States.
Okay. Yeah, I was really tempted to bet on Aston Villa for all of the reasons that you laid out above, but it's Burnley's recent form did give me a little cause for concern because they've only lost once in 7 games. Admittedly, that was to Newcastle, who are a very poor team. So, I mean, if you're losing to Newcastle, you are probably going to lose to Aston Villa. But you just look at their form. They drew with Chelsea. They drew with West Ham. They are pretty good at battling to a draw here and there. It does make me a little bit concerned. But yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Aston Villa for that one. Next up, we have Leeds United versus the mighty Arsenal. Real bad injury problems at Leeds right now. Defenders Robin Cook, Liam Cooper, and Pascal Strick all out injured. Junior Firpo is going to be suspended for this game. Jamie Shackleton's joined the injury list. So that is a defensive crisis. Going forward, Patrick Bamford's out, Rodrigo's out, Daniel James is out, and they're missing star midfielder Calvin Phillips. That's like a whole team, Matt. That's like you rip the spine out of the team. You've robbed them of their best defenders, their best midfielder, their best forwards. It's probably not surprising that they lost 7-0 to Man City last weekend, is it?
Not really. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about how they're really not that deep in general. So all of these absentees are huge. I'm really shocked, though, at this line movement. I was looking at it yesterday. Arsenal were starting to catch some money and up into the like 1.8 range. I mean, with more and more absentees, you would like to think that that would continue to rise. Right now, it's getting closer back down to even money. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Martin, we've been over this now for a couple of years. Like when you get Arsenal on the road hovering around this anywhere from plus 110 to minus 125 range, if you were to have taken that over the last couple seasons, you would be in the negative. Let's just say, like they on the road, they struggle.
Yeah.
But they were able to beat Leeds home and away last season. Um, actually, they were able to beat them one out of the two times. One of them was in the cup. So they picked up 2 wins out of 3, and one of them was a 0-0 draw against Leeds. I really like what I'm seeing from Arsenal, though. I think that there's not a better time than right now. This wasn't on my official picks when we were going through all 10 matches. But now that it's a shorter slate, 5 matches, I think I'm going to add Arsenal to this. I think they can find a way. And it's also just if this line is bouncing up and down, it just makes me think, well, might as well just wait for the lineup check just to make sure.
Yeah, I got them at plus 110 yesterday, which just seemed like a huge price. I understand that Arsenal's away form has been poor. They've lost their last 3 games on the road. But like you said, they did well against Leeds last season, beat them in the EFL Cup, albeit, that was reserve teams. But yeah, I'm just happy to be fading Leeds, basically. Arsenal have been in good form since stripping Aubameyang of the captaincy. They seem to be moving in the right direction. And this is just a perfect opportunity for Arsenal to finally pick up an away win. No team could deal with missing 7 or 8 key first-team players. And that has just really, really just, like I said, ripped the spine out of this Leeds team. Yeah, like you, I can't really understand why the odds are so good on Arsenal. It has been bouncing around. It's a bit below even money now, but I still think it's worth getting on that because I can imagine that line coming in the build up to the game. So yeah, loving the away win here. Have to go for it. Have to oppose Leeds. Next up, we have Newcastle versus Manchester City. What did you make of Newcastle last night, Matt?
I thought that they were what we've normally seen from them, just erratic at times. They have a Shelvey wonder goal in the first 10 minutes to take the lead at Anfield. But then on the flip side, Shelvey becomes the hero, but then he becomes the villain with a bad back pass that Sadio Mane pounces on, and it finds its way to the wonder left foot of Mohamed Salah, who is on his way to having 20 plus goals, 10 plus assists before January, which is just remarkable. And I thought that yesterday was a perfect gauge for what was upcoming in this match. I mean, when you get Newcastle, and they play at Anfield, and then now you get to see them in a home match at St. James against Manchester City, a very similar level of quality to Liverpool. I think it was a perfect storm, and I really think that the best bet here is Manchester City to score in both halves. Just they create so many chances. It's always a very good bet to have in your pocket because I think that if it doesn't hit, it's basically due to some unfortunate events, some luck that maybe doesn't bounce your way, but you're going to create 3 to 4 to 5 really quality chances in the opposing box with Manchester City, no matter who it's up against. And now you're getting this leaky defense that can't keep clean sheets. Liverpool scored in both halves at Anfield. Why can't City, again, is it the greatest price in the world at minus 150, minus 160-ish? No, not really, but I think that it's still worth a bet.
Okay, great, thanks. Yeah, I agree there. I think they can score in both halves. Newcastle's defence has been very leaky, and it's the squad depth that's so important for Man City at this time of season. They've got world-class players on the bench week in, week out, and they can rotate the squad. And yeah, they're on a very, very impressive run of form. I just struggle to find value in this game, I must admit. I mean, you have to go to -2 on the Asian handicap line to get close to even money. You actually only get about -120 on that. I probably would be happy to go for that. I think they can win this by 3 or more goals, but there's always a bit of a worry at this time that if they do take a lead, they could relax in the second half a little bit and just control the game and see out a relatively low-scoring win. So I just had to pass it in the end because I couldn't really find the value. But yeah, if I was going to go for something, I guess Man City -2 Asian handicap looks okay. Next up, we have Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Chelsea Football Club. Matt, what do you think about this? Because Wolves have been in good form lately, haven't they?
They've been in great form. I mean, this is a team that has taken City and taken Liverpool all the way in their matches, really. An unfortunate red card against City, that hurt. A late goal conceded to Origi against Liverpool. And now you've got Chelsea, who, let's face it, I'm ready to make my statement here, Martin. Chelsea are the third best team in this league. They're not better than Liverpool, and they're not better than City. I've always kind of thought
our friend Rude Boy, if he's watching, he's gonna be getting very angry on the comments.
he will be. He will be. But this is something that I've thought the entire time. I thought that the bookies were at the beginning of the season pricing them ahead of Liverpool, and that didn't make a ton of sense to me. With Virgil van Dijk coming back and getting players in like a Konate who looked fantastic yesterday, Martin. Like, I don't think that Liverpool will skip a beat even out without arguably the best defender in the world. That's how good Konate is. He's probably in the top 10 conversation right now already. And so, yeah, back to this. I mean, Chelsea, you saw what happened yesterday, and I put a little bet out on Twitter, Chelsea win to 0. I'm really shocked that they ended up conceding because Everton's lineup was probably the worst, Martin, that I have seen all season. I mean, they had youngsters, players that have really never gotten a healthy amount of minutes, but they didn't have that striker. You saw it happens in this league when you don't have that clinical number 9. It takes some time. I mean, even when you're breaking these teams down with great midfielders, I mean, when you're going with Mount and Pulisic and just players that aren't accustomed to always being up in front of net, it happens. And so this one's very, very interesting. I really want to see Ryan Nori in for Wolves. He's he's on the premier injuries list with a groin. And then Hee Chang-Wan got injured in the last match. Like, I really like both of those players. Nori is a young, 19-year-old who's been really looking strong for them. And Huang, as we know, I mean, coming over from Salzburg, is a really top player, and no Jimenez due to suspension. So just a little couple things that just make me want to wait. But again, I don't see Wolves getting beat by a margin here. That's where I'm at, Martin.
No, I like it. I mean, like you said, they could only draw with a very, very average Everton team that have been in really poor form and that fielded a bunch of youngsters. Like, that was a very weak-looking Everton team. If you'd taken a look at the starting lineups, you would think comfortable win for Chelsea there, 3-0, something like that. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Pulisic he's never really played in the false 9 role before, has he? And he probably struggled up there a little bit. They do miss that focal point in attack. For me, I think Chelsea, when N'Golo Kante comes out of that team, they're just a different side entirely. As soon as he was missing from that Juventus game in the Champions League, it all went wrong for them. They lost. When he comes out of the team, they just really don't look as solid. They don't control the midfield as well. And yeah, they're not going to blow Wolves away. Well, they could, but I'd be very surprised if they blew Wolves away this weekend. So I like that tip. Yeah, Wolves looking strong. They rarely lose heavily, do they? Wolves, they're always in with a shout in the second half of matches. So yeah, that looks great to me. Okay,
I think it's a lineup check, Martin, because Conte was on the bench, yesterday against Everton, so he's probably going to find his way into the starting lineup. And when he's in and Chelsea are at full strength, then they are right up there with the Cities and Liverpools. But you can tell that, Conte is such a big piece, like what you mentioned, Martin. So yeah, if he's in and Jorginho's in, I would maybe rethink something in this.
I mean, he kind of has to be at 100% fitness as well. Like, you don't really want Kante when he's not. The whole point of Kante is just how much he charges about the pitch and wins the ball and stuff. So if he's not quite 100%, then you still might not be getting the best out of him. So yeah, it still does give me cause for concern about Chelsea. So I like leaning towards Wolves here too. Final match is Tottenham Hotspur versus Liverpool. been very, very impressed with Liverpool in recent weeks. It's funny, isn't it? Because Spurs haven't played for 2 weeks. Both of their recent games have been postponed due to COVID outbreaks, whereas Liverpool have played 3 times since then. So Tottenham's players are definitely going to be fresher for this. Liverpool missing a few key players, like we said. I don't think Curtis Jones is that important, really, is he? But Fabinho and Van Dijk out. Interesting to hear you say that Konate is the man. Do you think he's going to partner Matip in defence?
Most likely, yes. He'll just slot right into Virgil's role, and I mean, he is just a humongous guy, just like Virgil, and he's just strong and powerful. He's got good technique. He's got pace. I mean, he is kind of a Virgil van Dijk clone, if you will. So
there's fight in the midfield, isn't there? Because you can have Jordan Henderson. You could even throw James Milner in there if you want someone that's going to get stuck in a little bit more. Yeah, they should be solid in this game, shouldn't they, Liverpool? So
yes.
Yeah.
I think that this is an unders match, even though it's hard to get involved with unders with Liverpool. I just think that, maybe this 2 weeks, maybe Spurs, I don't know what the restrictions really have been. So they haven't been on the training ground, Martin? Can you confirm like what's going on over there?
No, it's been a bit shrouded in mystery, and they haven't actually revealed who has tested positive for COVID. I mean, the rumours suggest that it's Son Heung-min, Lucas Moura, the right back, Emerson Royale. So if those players aren't back, they're going to be missing some key players as well. I mean, you could have Harry Kane up front with Steven Bergwijn and Dele Alli. But the issue for them, whereas Liverpool have been playing, they've got momentum right now, whereas Tottenham could actually be a little bit rusty. I know they're going to be fresh. They're going to have fresh legs in the second half, so they could have a bit of an advantage there. But from the off, I expect Liverpool to be the stronger team when it starts. It's also worth noting that Liverpool have an amazing record against Tottenham, don't they? They've won 7 in a row against Spurs. And they even beat Spurs home and away last season when they were missing Virgil van Dijk. I think Joel Matip played in about half of one of those games, but they were basically playing Fabinho and Jordan Henderson in defence for those matches, and they still got the better of Spurs. I still think they can go there and win this, even with the players that they've got out. I think I've gone for Liverpool at under 4.5 goals.
I think that's the banker of the week, Martin. I think it's the banker of the week.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I can see Spurs getting on the score sheet. I think Fabinho is very important. So he's going to be a big miss, but I still think that Liverpool will outscore them. So 2-1, something like that to Liverpool sounds great to me.
None of the last 6 have seen over 4.5 goals. So
yeah, exactly.
That it makes total sense. I think that is the best bet probably on this slate. If you can get it close to even money anytime you're betting on Liverpool, that's got to be somewhat attractive.
Indeed. Great. All right. Well, thanks for that, Matt. And to the Wizard, please, can we have the picks? There's only a couple from me, sadly. I had 3 more, but those games were cancelled. So I'm just left with Arsenal at plus 110. I got. Shop around for your odds. Might be about plus 100 now. And I've gone for Liverpool under 4.5 goals at plus 100.
Yep, and I'm on Villa minus 130. I'm on City to score in both halves at minus 150. Wolves plus 1, and you know what? I mean, we're getting close to Christmas, Martin. I think I'm just going to add Arsenal and I'm going to add Liverpool and under 4.5 goals and go and bet every single match and see what Santa can bring.
Go for it. Go for it. I like it, Matt. I like it. Well, yeah, we have actually got a tip for all 5 games, which is good. So despite a lack of action in the Premier League this weekend, I think there's still going to be some interesting matchups to look forward to. So thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll be back in about 35 minutes filming La Liga Primera, where all the games are on. So we've got 10 games to cover there. It's all good. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much.